Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Alan Durrant and I'm the Channel Account Manager for Electrical Products within the UK and Ireland. The title of this presentation is VeriSafe, Leading the Way with Prevention Through Design. The purpose of this presentation is to demonstrate that Panduit can deliver solutions for control and power applications that reduce the risk of electrical workplace hazards through design. Our unique VeriSafe is an absence of voltage tester and is a great example of prevention through design. Quite simply, we can demonstrate that at a push of a button, the VeriSafe can help save lives and improve efficiency. The VeriSafe can be used in many situations. It is typically used in a powered cabinet, a panel or switchgear, or in data centres, or anywhere where safe access to power is required. It can be fitted either to a new product to, say, provide differentiation from a competitor, or it can be simply retrofitted to an existing equipment on a production line. It's ideal for applications with frequently accessed equipment, or in areas where there's a high number of safety incidents may occur, or areas that are very difficult and remote to access. So before I begin the demonstration, let me show you some of the key parts of the VeriSafe unit. So before I go into this unit, I'm just going to check that it is safe for me to enter. I'm looking for some green lights, and I'm safe to enter this unit. So to begin with, we have this indicator module on the front of the unit. This module has some active light indicators, both green and red, which I'll explain a little bit later, and it has a test button. On the inside of the unit, the indicator module is connected to the main module here. This module can be either surface mounted or it can be DIN rail mounted, and the indicator module and the main module is joined by this connecting cable. From this module we have 4 pairs of sensor cables. These sensor cables go to each of the phases and also to ground. And that is simply it. They're the 4 parts of our VeriSafe unit. Okay, so in normal industry guidelines, what is the procedure of how an electrician gains access to a powered unit? Normally this is done using a portable handheld tester, like a voltmeter. And what happens is, the electrician first of all selects his tester. Then he opens up the panel, and straight away there's a high risk of arc flash and the risk of electrocution to that contractor. He then has to take the tester away, test the tester. He then comes back to the panel, checks the voltage. He then takes the tester away again, tests the tester. And once that's okay, he can come back and do his work within that panel. This can be a very manual activity and can take between 10 and 20 minutes depending on the accessibility of that cabinet. Now, these portable testers that everybody's using at the moment has its limitations. The first one is there's the risk of possible hardware failure. It just may not work. More frequently, there is a risk of human error, and regardless of the amount of training the contractor's been through, there is always a risk that he will miss out some of the steps and increase more risk to himself. He may see some figures that he can misinterpret, and therefore he may think it's safe and it may not be safe to access. And finally, all the time he's doing this testing, the cabinet is open and there is a risk of exposure to the electrical products within. Now, the VeriSafe, what it does is many of these steps I've just talked about, but it does it automatically in just a few seconds. So what the VeriSafe does is simply we press the button, and by pressing the button, what's happening? It's verifying the installation, it's checking the voltage, it rechecks the installation once again, it retests itself, and then will come up with a signal saying it's green and safe to work, and then finally you can open it. So you've gone through all those tests and application steps in a safe environment without opening the cabinet. So let's do a full demonstration of the VeriSafe unit. So before I start, this is a demonstration unit. It's purely here to demonstrate the features and benefit of our VeriSafe unit. And what we have is a cabinet, and we have an isolator on the side which turns the power on or off. Secondly, we have a fan. This fan will indicate when the power is on and we'll turn around, but also there's a nice light on there that visually shows you that the unit is power and lived. We also have some switches down here that indicate the phase. I'll come back to the moment and particularly why this one's missing. So, first of all I do is, the unit is turned off, I'll press the button, it goes through that test process, takes a few seconds, and we have a green light to confirm that it's safe to enter. So, let me turn the power on. As you can see, or you can hear, the fan is working, the lights are on, the unit is powered. Now we wouldn't obviously enter now. We turn the unit off by the isolator. I press the test function. We wait a few seconds, but it's still an amber warning symbol. Now we don't enter this unit unless it's green. Now the reason that this unit will not let us in at this point is because it registered some residue current and voltage inside the unit. So let me try this again. The unit is powered, the fan is working, the lights are on. We turn the unit off, but this time we wait for the residual current to dissipate. Then we press the button. We wait a few seconds and we go green. And this is now a safe unit to enter. So this is basically like a traffic light. Green means go. Anything else other than green means stop and find out what is the reason why we should not be entering that unit and enter the unit with caution. And just to clarify, when we talk about safe, we're talking about there's a total absence of any voltage, which basically means it's less than 2.7 volts. So why would we change from the old system to our new VeriSafe system? Now, a recent survey, a recent 5-year survey, found that 18% of facilities had a personal injury, 36% of these facilities had a near miss to a personal injury, and 11% either had a plant interruption or had downtime. Therefore, there's lots of opportunities to save life, prevent injury, and opportunities to improve productivity and prevent downtime. So when we have a unit and we do the test function, and we press this button, what's actually happening? So first of all, the unit is testing if there's any voltage here and basically looking for an absence of voltage. It's checking both AC and DC. It's checking itself. The whole sequence of testing is all automatic and there is no risk of human error. We also have within the system here, we have some red lights and we have some green lights and the amber lights. So it's an active indication showing you if it's good or bad to enter. And all the testing is related to SIL3, which is Safety Integrated Level 3. And this just ensures it's safe and can be trusted. Now let me turn to something else within the system. So we turn the power on, and I turn my attention to these 3 red lights. Now these 3 red lights are indicating the 3 phases. So if I turn one of these phases off, you'll see that one of the lights go off, and can just be another benefit to the contractor to find out if there's a problem, where is the problem, and clearly here, one of the phases is not working. It could be a missing cable or something has failed, etc. It highlights a problem linked to one or more phases. Turn the phase back on, turn the unit off, allow it to go back, the fan to stop, press the tester, and we're back to green and safe once again. Now this unit, the VeriSafe, is not mains powered. It's powered by a battery. And the battery is inside here. And as you can see here, it's a simple lithium long life battery that powers the VeriSafe remotely and nothing to do with the power within the system. So how do we trust that this VeriSafe can be trusted to work? Now, if you remember, these 3 switches down here indicate a phase. How do we know, for example, if there's a missing switch, if that phase is on or off, is it working? This could also be lights, lamps on a cabinet indicating if there is power on. Now, that lamp may not work because of a disconnected wire to that lamp, or the lamp may have just failed, and you still would not know if the cabinet is live or not. So, what we can do here is we have these three phases. If we test the unit at the moment, the unit is turned off, and it's basically safe to enter. Now, if I turn one of these phases off and retest, now we know the unit was already passed its test that it's good to enter and no power. This time, it's giving me a warning signal. The reason it's giving this warning signal is to carry out its full function, it has to test each phase and get a result. If it doesn't get all those test results back, it won't let you go through. And if you remember from the start, it's like a traffic light. If there's no green lights, do not enter. Anything else is a risk. So you have to then identify what is the cause of that problem. So we turn the power back on, test the button once more. We'll go through its sequence. And once again, we're back to green. Once more, anything else other than green is not safe. So, in summary, the VeriSafe system demonstrates how Panduit leads the way with prevention through design, and that Panduit has a total commitment to research and development. The VeriSafe is a unique product. It will show you when there is a total absence of voltage. This VeriSafe unit has won numerous awards around the world for its innovation and new product to market. We've also shown how the absence of voltage tester is completely different to a handheld tester. It completely eliminates the risk of human error. And finally, the VeriSafe, not only can it save life, it can save time, it can improve productivity and reduce downtime. So let's see if we have any questions from the audience. Okay, we've got one come up here. What happens if the battery fails during or before a test? Now, the battery, as I mentioned before, is in here. This battery is a long life battery. It's typically 3 to 5 years life, so it should last for a very long time. Now, if the battery was moved or dead and we tried to test, what would happen is you'd get an amber light coming here, or basically you get no lights at all, and without any green light, you don't enter. If the battery was weak and not enough power to do the performance, you'd have a flashing amber light. This would give you an indication there's something wrong, and again, because it's not green, you don't enter. So if the battery is dead, you've got no light at all. If the battery is weak, you'll get a warning signal, and basically, unless it's green, you don't enter. And therefore, it's safe and you know what happens if the battery is failing. We have a second question. Why are there 2 sensor leads per phase and ground? Now, the 2 leads, firstly, the lead allows you to do continuity check with the phases and the ground within the unit. But the second lead also allows you to test the tester, which is part of the test process required. And this is also very important as part of the SIL3 to ensure that it's safe and can be trusted. So that's why we have 2 leads per phase and ground. Do we have any more questions? What voltage equipment can this be used for? Okay, so I haven't clarified that this VeriSafe unit here is our version 1. And this unit can be used up to power applications up to 600 volt. Now, it's a good question, but because we also have a new version coming out, our version 2. Now, the version 2 unit will allow us to use in applications up to 1000 volts, so much larger cabinets and much higher power rating. But also have additional features as well. So it will have the option of being mains operated rather than the battery as an option. It will also operate in harsher environments, much colder and much hotter. And finally, it'll have the ability to be networked, which will enable remote testing rather than actually physically pressing the button. Do I have any more questions? No, I don't. So, I think I'm coming to a close, so I hope you've all learned something from this demonstration. Thank you very much for your time. And in conclusion, if you require any further details about the VeriSafe, please contact your local Panduit representative, or alternatively go to our Panduit website and you can download all the information you require. Finally, thank you very much for your time.